Hey guys, my name is Simpzy. How you all doing? Welcome back to some more Medieval Kingdoms Total War 1212 AD campaign. We're back on our Kingdom of Switzerland series. This is episode 6. In today's episode, we're going to finally forge the Swiss Empire. But before we do so, we've got to take the city of Gdansk from Pomerania, and we also have to defend this assault at Brandenburg. Emperor Leopold is going to be pushing south against the Poles, and we're going to be able to take Gdansk here today now. So, if you like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like, subscribe if you're new around here with notifications on, let me know in the comments feedback and suggestions for the series. We're going to be ending it here today. We're going to hit our long victory conditions. We've hit the short of the Kingdom of Switzerland, and we're also going to hit our long here today of the Swedish Empire. I can do more episodes, but it just sort of depends on your feedback and suggestions. I've really, once we go and do what I've set out just before, we've hit my main objectives of sort of taking and controlling the majority of the German sphere of influence. We knocked out the HRE, defeating the Holy Roman Empire. And now we have had 2 Swiss emperors on the imperial throne. So the Poles have managed to flee back from Brandenburg here, and we're going to have to fight them on the field to finish off the Duchy of Greater Poland once and for all. So let's fight this one here today. So just looking at the river here, so Brandenburg, yes, it looks like we're going to be fighting this one on the River Rhine. We've done a quick save and a hard save. Let's load in and battle this one out. Rightio, the Battle of Brandenburg, 1269 AD. 3 units of spears. So 2 units of sergeants, 4 of their heavies, only 3 units of cavalry and 1 unit of crossbows. So even though we're fighting with tier 1 units, these guys are gold chevrons, we have armoured archers and 4 units of cavalry. Looking at the map, there's 2 units of approach for this. So we're probably going to have to cross the distance, close the distance, and cross the river as quickly as possible. So, if this is the last episode of the Swiss campaign, depending on you guys, what do you want me to replace it with? There's still a couple more factions we've still played with. We've managed to really smash most of the major 1212 AD factions, so I've got a huge catalogue, guys, if you haven't gone and checked it out. We played as England, we played as France, we played as the Byzantines, we played as the Holy Roman Empire, we even played as like Poland, Bulgaria, Spain, just to name a few. Portugal, there's so many campaigns we've done. So, if you're disappointed with the Swiss one leaving, go and check those out. What a nice, clear day. This looks fantastic. Look how beautiful this is on the River Rhine. The Poles and the Swiss battle it out for the last time. So here are the Poles here. We're going to be fighting them on the field of battle. They had a really good defensive siege against us in the last when we took the city of Posen, which was quite difficult. So they've divided their army up here into 2 categories, and then the rest on the far side here. So we'll try and skirmish them out where we can, because we have archer supremacy, and we'll try and basically rush them as best we can. And we might have to just charge our cavalry over. We'll just have to see. So I'll put my cavalry on the flank here. I think we could just, like, if we're quick enough, we might be able to rotate over. We'll get my archers to try and loosen up and pin down some of them. We'll move you here, and we'll divide my army up evenly into 2 army groups. So the other factions on 1212 AD that I'm open to, we've got Antioch, we still haven't playing as a different Crusader state. We've still got the Grand Duchy of Kiev in the far east. We've even got Georgia as well. We could even eventually play as the Moors or Bohemia. So if any of those, or Makuria even, just to name a few. So if any of those took your fancy, let me know in the comments. If not, we can move on to something else. We've got more Rome 2 on the channel, or maybe just another strategy game. So we'll form up here. We'll try and push and close the distance as quickly as possible on them. Right, so I'm going to get my cavalry here, and we're going to charge straight up and across. So they're instantly moving their cavalry around. So we want to try and cross the river as quickly as possible before we get sort of bogged down into the watery and low flats here. So if I can somehow swing you around there, that'd be more beneficial. There's more guys on this side, so I might actually hold. I think I want to push on the right while I hold on the left. So my cavalry is trying to close the distance as quickly as possible. They have got some crossbows there, but they don't seem to be stopping me. Come on, cavalry. They seem to be going in single fire and wrapping around. Come on, quickly, quickly. If we can get these guys up and around, we're going to be able to launch rapid fire, high octane flanking attacks. My archers now are going to try and pin down some of the spears sitting in behind. So there's 4 units of this side, supplementing with 2 cavalry, while the majority of their infantry, which lacks cavalry, is on the left. But we've somehow managed to bamboozle the AI by the smallest of margins, wrapping around. My infantry now, which is 6 units strong, are going to try and swarm. If we can hold down the infantry, while my archers soften them up, we're going to be able to get a good counter flank. Okay, form up here because you guys are going to look to push as well. We'll try and move you guys up and around. So fortunately enough for the Poles, they actually managed to secure a decent battlefield. So we're going to charge against the Poles here, against these sergeants. Let's engage them. That's what I'm talking about. That charge was nearly like a wet fish there, wasn't that very good? Right, it was kind of sloppy, but we'll be able to hold here. Alright, swing around there where we can, slightly flank. And now that we're starting to pin them down, we can get my cavalry to wrap down and around. There we go. On this far side, they have a unit of crossbows, but they don't... Yeah, we're going to out-snipe them there, but that's alright. So we'll try and swing around on them. The general's in there, so if we can get the general loss penalty inflicted, they're now routed, and we've completely swarmed the Polish left flank. The Swiss cavalry is charging in. We're fighting for the Swiss Confederacy, the Empire and Kingdom. And now they've absolutely buckled there. We're fighting for the future of the German states. The Holy Roman Empire was weak, and it took a Swiss upstart named Werner to start things off. Right, and we're still peppering them on this far side here, and we're trading back and forth. Okay, they've been mostly routed here. And we'll form up and try and crush the remaining. They actually are slowly bringing some stuff over here. So try and hit the infantry that's turning and showing their back behind us, and we'll aim on the crossbows there. We're just mopping up some of the remaining stragglers here as we look to form up and charge upon the other side. Now, Poland is still technically in the game because the Duchy of Lesser Poland we have an alliance with. We're more than likely fighting the Pretenders. But there's an epic 1v1 going on here, and they just don't seem to be matching up. This guy is so not interested. Sometimes you have some like crazy 1v1s, but I guess the animation and stuff didn't lock. So it looks like they're going in single file here, as I was trying to get some cinematic shots. Quickly, reform the line. Right, there we go. So let's reform you there. Okay, we're a little bit flat-footed there. We might just need to close the distance as they're pulling away. I'm being caught there. So we'll push over the river. We'll stop those crossbows from hitting us. But it looks like a decent cavalry charge is coming in. We'll try and lock in on that. So the Polish, for all intensive purposes, the winged hussars are coming in here. But these are actually Templar Knights by the look of it, yeah. Obviously, when the HRE fell, a huge power vacuum opened up. Because I'm pretty sure the Teutonic Order has fallen as well. So, you could role-play the recruitment of Teutonic Knights and Hospitallers as a power vacuum. There even seems to be some Viking shields here by the look of it. I guess they sort of are towards that Pomerania, Baltic-inspired area. Sort of towards the north. So it wouldn't be surprising if they were operating with Scandinavian equipment or whatever. They can just sort of razzle up. Right. So, what's going on here? So that cavalry charge didn't do too well. Spearmen are now coming up here. We'll send one to engage. and 2 to flank. Once they've locked in, we'll be able to flank. Okay, straight in like just a hand-to-hand fight. We seem to be carving up the Polish reserves like carving a cake. Now, this would have been incredibly annoying if they actually were able to take Brandenburg, because then I would have had to wait another couple of turns before I can click the decision in the event to form the Swiss Empire. The Crusaders now are charging into the rear of the Poles, and we should have victory here today now. We have the new Emperor, Leopold, who fought a lot under his father's tutelage. He needs to get stuck in. Let's get a charge with the Imperial Swiss cavalry. We haven't seen him much in this series because we've sort of been protecting him and needing to. So the Swiss cavalry comes in, and here comes the Imperial cavalry of the Emperor. Look how heavily armoured these things are as well. We probably could have used them a lot more. I just tend to sort of eye on the side of caution when throwing in the king. But our family tree is secure, and a little bit of sort of bloodlust has overcome him. We have victory. We have victory here today. We've managed to defeat the Poles in a really cool and unique battle. We've had a lot of defensive and offensive sieges in this, so having an open field bridge battle. This is a beautiful battle map. Look at this. Even like the hills in the background, the River Rhine bending down the bend, and look at the trees as well, the woodland as well. Just a variety of different greens. So let's try and run down as many of the Polish stragglers as we can. We don't want to have to be running around. What is this, Brandenburg? Yeah, it was the battle for Brandenburg. I was going to say Bavaria, but it's Brandenburg. We don't want to be dragged away too much. But overall in this campaign, France has managed to hold out. I think England as well. I'm curious to see sort of what's in and around us empire-wise. So Leopold deployed 2.5, losing just 300-ish. The Poles deployed 1.5 and essentially lost that. Cavalry did tremendously well. Archers, not so much. Maybe because they were more so on a heavy shot, and in instances they weren't fighting higher, heavier units. They're fighting sort of lighter to maybe even the mid-tier, so maybe that's why they didn't perform overly too much. I think they were even targeting like crossbowmen at some point, which are definitely a lighter variant. But yeah, so technically the Swiss Confederacy now. Okay, that's a weird sort of twang to it. The Just Conquerors. Leopold is a 6-star commander now, and we've utterly dispatched the Poles here today. Hey guys, welcome to the campaign map. Swinging and battling it out. The Swiss were successful. Let's take on the warriors, because we don't want to anger the Pope. But looking in the bottom banner here, we have an aurora of yellow. That means we've hit our victory conditions, and we can activate it. So, 18 regions. Pomerania has now been destroyed, but the Swiss Empire has officially been forged. And now I can technically call him the Emperor. We'll send down Mr. Dolph to finish off the last of them. Always send an ad to deal with them at Wittenberg. But let's have a look at our faction now then. So here is the king, or emperor, if you will. Catholicism is our largest. So here's the family tree, from Werner to Johann to Leopold. Our line is secure. Johann had a ridiculous amount of Swiss sons. With strength ranked 1 now. We occupy most of what we consider modern-day Germany, Scandinavia, and down into Switzerland as well. France, that's what they look like now. What's going on here? The Ayyubids have knocked out most of the Crusade states. Oh, England! Oh, they've actually taken that territory. Oh, I thought France was sort of holding on. That must be quite recent that they've only gone and done that. So, decisions-wise and victory conditions, we've got sort of no more to do. The only thing we'd maybe do now is maybe take Austria. We could liberate France if that's something you would like to see. Or we could go and do some overseas invasions. That's definitely an option, as we are currently still at war with the Ayyubids. I think we were drawn into a war against them, potentially I think when the French started the Crusade. But the Byzantines have taken Constantinople, which is quite cool. But I'm going to put a pin in the campaign here. I'm going to take a break for it for a couple of days, but I reckon this is going to be the last episode, guys, unless you want to see more. So thank you very much for watching episode 6 of the Medieval Kingdoms Total War 1212 AD Swiss campaign. I've had an absolute blast recording it. Look how far we've come from humble beginnings in the small Swiss city of Bern. Some people didn't like my cheesy Civil War tactic, which I understand if you're that stringent on not cheating the AI, but there was really no there was no way to make this Swiss series interesting if I didn't do that, because we wouldn't have been able to push and conquer anyway if we didn't try and get as many military allies on our side, flip the HRE and cause a civil war, which, if we did make a wrong move or two, that's it. That's the end of the Swiss campaign. Because even though we caused the civil war, France was the only major power that stood with us. We were at war with the HRE. They could have sent their doom stacks down about me. We were fortunate that the other Germanic territories were keen to pick apart the kingdom. Aragon and England could have rushed us, which they didn't, and the French were more preoccupied with Provence and the southern French counts. We were incredibly fortunate to take the HRE territory. We also had to defend Frankfurt twice, if you can remember, in the first couple of episodes, because even though we pushed and had a really good battle against the HRE, England came out of nowhere and tried to silence the Swiss onslaught. And yeah, Denmark helped us out. We picked apart the German states from Bavaria, Bohemia, Brandenburg, one by one, because they had their small united pacts. Even though Denmark came down and helped us, they exposed their own kingdom to a Norwegian and Swedish incursion, and we were able to take the territories in Scandinavia to the north, sort of opening up the Nordic Sea trade nodes. And then we finished things off towards the end. We didn't actually need to push into the Netherlands, into Groningen, which I thought we might have had to do. We only had to push into Antwerp, and we had to push into Pomerania and take Gdansk. We did have to take out Greater Poland. We didn't need to actually take out the sort of core eastern Lithuania to Polish territories with Leszek, the first among the Piasts and the White Eagle to the east. We still managed to keep our alliance with him and Hungary as well, because if you guys can remember, we did marry into that Hungarian line and that Austrian line, so they were sort of quiet and didn't really pose a threat against us. But what a series, man. Just reflecting on it, I've had an absolute blast. I want to do more 1212 on the channel at some point, so let me know feedback and suggestions. I've still got my Rome campaign still going on, so go check that out if you haven't already. But stay tuned for more channel on the content coming out in the weeks and months. Still going to be smashing out content in 2020, so stay tuned for that. Unfortunately, guys, it is time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comment section down below your feedback for the series, and if you'd like to see more, that's the best way to ensure more content. Leave a dislike if you're not enjoying the series. Check out my social media links if you want to stay connected with me. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all in the description below. Patreon and merchandise link in the description below, along with the Steam group. Come and join the community on Steam. And on that note, unfortunately, I have to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching once again. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Go out and have a fantastic rest of your day. My name has been Simpzy. Goodbye.